Joining us is a lady, of course, who is no stranger to the Observer. Pleasant good evening to Venezuelan activist Yesneia Gonzales. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening to everybody. Since
Yes,
compliment of the season.
same
I
to
have a
you.
little flu, so my voice is husky right now.
I understand. Best season's greetings to you and your entire family, and of course to the entire Venezuelan community here in Trinidad and Tobago. And I hope you have a prosperous 2024. You know, usually when we
Thank
talk,
you, thank you.
there's always an element of something negative that has taken place with the Venezuelans who are here. But things seem to be changing. Talking to you um, recently, there seems to be a sort of a business drive, an entrepreneurial spirit within the community. Tell us some of those changes that you've been witnessing.
Well, you know, in Venezuela, the culture is about family and unity, and you know, the biggest the biggest feeling for Venezuelan is family, friends, everybody visiting everybody, and they share yaka, or they share, or they invite each other. Usually, we celebrate that the 24th. That is when we celebrate Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and what's been happening here as far as the businesses? Because so many people are saying that they've been ordering goods. First of all, the locals would be asking, how are these businesses being set up? Are people being assisted as far as getting licenses and approvals and what have you?
Well, I really don't know much about it. I only know that you know they had those who had the work permit that allow them to work, and it's about 16,000 people who got the work permit, and they usually they are in restaurants and different business in Trinidad, because you know, if you don't have that minister permit, then you will not able to allow to work in any of those popular restaurants and all of that. In the area of those who don't have the minister permit, well, you know, because of the UNHCR, they have that confidence where, you know, even though the government do not recognize that process, they still will take a chance, and they will go and do a small little business along the way. But sometimes it's because of Trinidadians supporting it, in the sense that they may have a restaurant and they would allow them to bring the empanada or the ayaca and things like that. And some of them, they just basically doing among themselves. Like, for instance, I will buy for them, let's say, about 3 dozen of ayaca. I will buy for them like leche, how you call it again? Something that is cooked with a lot of milk and so on. You know, it tastes very nice. And different food and different things that they make for Christmas, like ponche crema. They make ponche crema. They make, what to tell you, different, like, how you call that again? It's like a nice pastry that they make too, and so on. And then, you know, I will, for instance, will buy from them, and I will recommend a friend, a Trinidadian friends, and they will buy, and so on going. So I believe that the business in that area is really doing very good.
Yeah, and you've seen it as far as booming. I mean, many would have come out of their culture, finding a new home, but yet still setting up shop, doing business as normal. But how does that deal with the culture? I mean, when you talk about capitalism, having that
Yes.
freedom to engage in that kind of business, which normally they would not have come from a culture like that, how are they starting to adjust the situation where having something of their own in a different culture as far as Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, you know, it's very difficult for them, you know, because, you know, Trinidad like plenty hot pepper when they have to eat food and so on. But they still appreciate, like, for instance, the empanada. They still appreciate the arepa, you know. They getting, I think they readjusting to the flavor of the Venezuelan food and so on, you know. So, and I believe they appreciate it very much, because, like, for instance, the empanada with chicken and beef and cheese. And, you know, if you're vegetarian, you could eat the empanada empanada with cheese. If you are not vegetarian, you could eat the one with chicken, or sometimes they do like with fish, you know. So the different that people really, the Trinidadian really readjusting, and they like it every day. They like it more, and I believe that is a big step forward. Like for instance, even with the music, the Trinidadian is starting to enjoy the music, and I think it's growing very big in Trinidad.
Yeah, it seems as though many people are now forming a niche market with that. You have Iowa George, for example, who's going to be doing a song with a Venezuelan artist. He said he performed last year and he had someone translate on stage and he loved the reaction.
Yes, yes,
So
I was there. I was there when that happened. I was there because my two sons was there, who also have a son Renzo, who is also grabbing the Latin market in Trinidad. I mean, he have a big show in TT, in a club called TT for something, Trinidad and Tobago, something in Chagonas. I don't remember exactly the name. I'm sorry about that. And it's a big turnout, you know. A lot of Trinidadians go, they enjoy it, and they're looking forward for it, you know. I remember that day when our job performed, my son performed there too, and we see a big reaction, yes. That was for Carnival.
yeah. So when you look at all of that, is it that many have finally said this is where their home is going to be, being able to get into that niche market, forming their own little entrepreneurial block, as the case may be, and setting up shop? So are you hearing that many saying, listen, I'm not going back, I'm able to make it here now?
Well, you know, I don't think the government will be able to control those things, because as soon as they've been deported, they're coming back, you know, and I think they can't control it, because remember, Venezuela is a big country, and Tucupita and William is right there, and so, you know, people keep going and coming, keep going and coming, keep going and coming. However, you could see like something happening there, in the sense that yes, they're not recognizing them being here because of the situation or the crisis in Venezuela. They're still coming here, they still work, they're still doing things, and they getting married, and they have their boyfriend, and some of them very happy living there, some of them they just here for a time. I believe that the culture is just basically growing, and it's not something that you know that you plan. It's something that it just has to happen because it is big, it is growing.
Yeah, it is big and it is growing. And many may be saying, listen, this is it. And looking at all the businesses that are now, you know, engaging the attention of the locals that are being run by Venezuelans, do you believe that at some point in time there's going to be something close to perhaps a chamber of commerce for Venezuelan Trinis?
Yes, I would believe anything like that. Anything like that could happen now. Yes, I believe that. Anything like that, because I mean, you know, Venezuela, as I say, is a big country, and things is changing, not only in Trinidad but all over the world. If you see people going Venezuelan, going Brazil, if you go in Peru, you will see they change the culture everywhere, everywhere. Remember, Venezuela is so big that you know you will not believe how big it is. But basically, people live in Venezuela and going into different country. And what you seeing here, you seeing it in Miami, you seeing it in New York, you seeing it in Peru, you seeing it in Brazil, you seeing it all over the world, basically, you know.
Yeah. And looking towards 2024, what do you believe more, as far as what else do you believe is going to be taking place as we move forward, looking at 2024?
Well, you know, as I said, you know, people will continue coming to Trinidad, and they will have certain events that will really cause them to come back, wherever there may be a political situation that may take place in Venezuela, because remember, election, hopefully to God, and that it will be next year. And then basically that will be also something that we have to look for, what is going to happen when you remove Maduro out of power. So that will be a major impact in Venezuela into how all those Venezuelan migrants are going to react, if they're really going to go back to Venezuela, or because of the situation or the crisis that continue, they are going to be more coming back here, and just basically basically the culture will just grow in, and we will have basically a island full of Venezuelan migrants, full of it without control, you know, in the sense of how it spread, not so much how the people coming in, but how the whole thing is spreading, the whole energy thing, like food and children growing there, and especially if the government allow the education for the children, allow them to get education in Trinidad, that will be also a big boom. Because the Venezuelan people are always concerned about the children going to school. And it's unfortunate that they can't go to school in Trinidad, but I do believe that situation will get better and children will get education. The Venezuelan migrant children will get education, and that will basically bring more than to come back here because of the basically English language and all of that, and the Spanish language and all of that, you know.
Yeah, so I believe there's more of a fusion that is going to be coming in the future. So we'll be seeing, and you're right. I mean, music is universal. So you're seeing artists making songs and looking at that niche market to get their product out there. I want to thank you so much, of course. Best of luck to you and your entire team, your organization, your NGO for 2024. Do have a safe season and look forward to speaking to you, of course, in the new year. And be safe out there.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity, and God bless you fully, and Merry Christmas to every one of you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Muchísimas gracias. Adiós.
Thank you.